Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of the LFC Toronto show. And is everyone okay? Like, have we recovered from this week, from last Sunday? Because we have to do it all again, apparently, this Saturday. My name's Azaz. I've got Jake with me. And we have another one of our community today with us called Sultan. He's giving us a little fist pump action and a little dance as well. Welcome, Sultan. I've heard your name before, but I've actually never had the fortune to meet you before.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here, and hopefully I won't ruin this episode 12.
I don't think you will. We've got so much football to talk about, but before we do, we obviously some people have given us feedback that their favorite part of this show is getting to know people, getting to know the community. So obviously we want to know a couple of things. We want to know your LFC origin story is what we're calling it. Like, what made you a Liverpool fan in the first place? How you found the Liverpool Supporters Club here in Toronto. And I'm going to put a new question in there. You'll be the first to answer. We want to know who your favorite cult hero is as well. Not Stevie or like Mo Salah or something. Who's like a random player who you just have an affinity with? Let's go.
Ooh. Okay, so nice to be here. So how did I end up being a Liverpool fan? Honestly, I was as a kid growing up in the 80s, and Liverpool was the hot team on TV. So we're sitting watching and like, oh, what is this team? Oh, I like this guy playing like that. Oh yeah, I love this team. So there was no like structured decision making. It was like just the passion that built up watching them play and liking the style and the players, and so it's what I stuck with. I mean, I don't remember supporting any other team. You know how some people have like a team in this league and that league, and I don't. I just have one Liverpool team, and that's it. And it's great as an older person where you don't have time to follow 100 teams, so just one is enough for me. In terms of how I found the club up here, so I moved to Toronto in 2010. I didn't know anyone, and I knew the games were going on. I was like, there have to be some people in the city who are fans. And so I just Googled kind of Liverpool sports bar club. And I tried to like find where people gather. I had no idea there would be a fan club. And then I show up, and it's this massive club of people. And you're like, dude, I love this. I feel at home. And, as someone who I don't have family in town or anything, it kind of became my weekend go-to, because weekends would get boring with no family or close friends here, given that I moved here. So, yeah, I started going, and Jake was always there and always very friendly and welcoming. And so I stuck with it. As far as cult hero, you make it difficult by putting the word cult hero in there.
But your interpretation.
I have to say, my favorite player, and I'm really grateful to the club in Toronto for bringing him here and giving me the opportunity to meet him, has always been John Barnes. I love that guy. He was an inspiration to me playing, because I love playing in the back as a kid as well. So I just I always watch, when I watch, he was the man. He's not really a cult hero. I don't.
No, he's a superstar.
Yeah,
he's a superstar. But we'll let you off. Off. John Barnes is always the answer. Any question, really? John Barnes is the answer.
Yeah. I love that guy. Yeah. I don't know the cult hero, but I will say, again, this guy's not a cult hero, but who was it that came and spoke? Oh, I'm forgetting his name. Is it Kennedy? Jamie Kennedy? Was it?
Ray or Allen? Ray or Allen?
No, Allen. Yeah. So he came and spoke, and I tell you, I'm a big fan, not because of his soccer skills, but because of his comedy skills.
Yeah. Solid. Solid. That was a fun night. For sure.
So he's a cult comedian, I would say. Sorry.
Yeah, great answer. Kennedy's great. We actually also had Mark Kennedy in the 90s, which was very random and obscure, and it didn't work out, but it is what it is. Jake, how you doing, mate? Good?
Ooh, I'm like, this past weekend of the city one drove me absolutely bonkers. Yeah. Madison was packed. I don't know, 500 people at the Madison.
Mhm.
And it was just a hectic scene. And then, of course, literally, I sprinted to my seat 1 minute before. I didn't even know who was starting for us. And then we all got caught up very quickly. And did we make some mistakes that day? Yeah. Did we were on our A game that day? Yeah. But I do like our fighting spirit, regardless of the fact, in the context of things.
Mhm.
And of course, it could have gone better, but I'll take the points. And we're still alive in the fronts from. So that was fantastic, right? That was a fantastic
I have to
foray.
say, Jake, whenever we meet anyone new, and they always talk about how welcoming and warm you were, and like you're in the right role, man, as president. Like it's such a sweet, sweet like thing. It's like, we're starting something new here, and there's always that throwback to like a lot of people giving that love that you're always there and always welcome.
Because it happened to me. It
Yeah.
happened to me as well. It happened to me. I was the same premise coming, and I was living up north, and I'm like, there has to be more people. Then I
Yeah.
finally got to Jester. I finally got to these smaller places, and the Grams and Mikes from the past, they were super welcoming, right?
Mhm.
Of course, it's our mantra, it's our motto, it's all of our dynamic. You can't start and stop. It's who we
Yeah.
are as people, and of
Yeah.
course, when you start meeting people like Sultan, and you're like, they're normal, they just want a good life, good
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
corporate citizens, like all that whole dynamic. So, as you said, it becomes a family premise. So we just give out that quality for all of us, basically.
Amazing. So, a theme of the show, because we are in a season where we're chasing history, how blessed we are. We keep saying it, whether it's on the show, whether it's in group messages, whether it's one-on-one messaging or speaking to each other. But it's been a big, big, big week. We had the big title deciding match, which wasn't title deciding at all, but was definitely excruciating. Tuesday night, we found out that our semi-final opponents will be Villarreal. And I don't, and we'll get on to that. I don't want to play them down, obviously, but like it's also not the mighty Bayern Munich. So we'll touch on that in a minute. And then the roller coaster of last night, which we were 6-2 up at 25 minutes left. So we'll talk a bit about that. And then obviously we've got, before the next show, which is next Wednesday or Thursday, we've got Manchester City on Saturday and Manchester United on Tuesday. So quite a lot of stuff to get into. So you picked a good one, Sultan. And I'm going to start with you, Sultan. Like, talk to me about your feelings. And we heard a bit from Jake. Let's hear what you thought. Now, firstly, you were on a plane when Liverpool were playing Manchester City, right?
Yeah. You know what? I don't know if it was bad planning on my part or what, but yeah, I was on a flight from Istanbul to Toronto, which is a 10-hour flight. But I was okay because many years ago, I had been on a Turkish Airlines flight and they had live TV then. So I was like, for sure, they're going to have it on this time. And so when it was on, I was happy. But it was kind of very interesting because people are trying to sleep, all this stuff. The match was like 2 hours in the flight, and I've got my scarf on and jersey, and I'm watching and I'm reacting, and people like, what's this guy react? Is he crazy? Like, so it was an interesting experience. But it was good. Look, my as Jake said, it was a stressful match, right? It was a stressful match. The positive takeaway for me is I didn't think we played the best match, yet we came away with points. I think had we played the best we could, we would have beat them. However, when I say this, I always also say, like, why did we not play well? It could have been because City had a better plan to kind of stop that momentum. I'll leave it at that so that, but I have some other thoughts. We'll come back to it.
No, I think it's a very, very good point you touch on because, I think we'll all be in different multiple social groups, digital like WhatsApp groups. And, what I always seem to find is whichever group I'm watching in or checking in and stuff like, I feel like there's always like a core of people that feel like we're not playing anyone. It's almost like we're showing up ourselves. And like, if we aren't at 10 out of 10, it's not like like it's not a disappointment, but you get my point. It's like, why are we not doing better? But the fact of the matter is, on last Sunday, we were at the home of the champions and the Premier League leaders. It wasn't at Anfield. It wasn't an empty. I know there's a pun there. It wasn't an empty stadium, like, you know, because during COVID, like when things came back behind closed doors, there was a lot more away wins and away performances, but it's kind of gone back to mean now. Home advantage does mean something. And like, I kind of feel like they channeled a little bit of like, they'll never be Anfield, obviously, they'll never be the Cop, but like they kind of channeled some of that energy as well. So getting out of the Etihad with a 2-2 when you don't play well is actually an outstanding result. It wasn't an outstanding performance at all, but I think like they don't let you play, and like those things need to come into it. So I think we're all on the same page. I just can't understand how tired I was on Monday. Like I was exhausted. Like, and I went to the Elephant and Castle. So Jake was at the Maddie. 500 people. We know we crossed 250 at Elephant and Castle, so they're 750, and then we've also got Sly Fox. So amazing achievement from our team this weekend, if I'm allowed to toot our horn. Yeah, 3 locations across the GTA, close to 1,000 Liverpool fans across the GTA, which is amazing. But like I was at the Elephant and Castle, and same thing again, like, you know, Jake will know this. We were supposed to do like an Instagram live with each other at halftime. And I messaged the group and said, it's so flat in here because we were 2-1 down and we are not used to losing. Like, we don't like it. Do you know what I mean? So like the vibe was flat. So I was like, abort, you know, and then Jake and Evie did a great Instagram live themselves just from Madison, because I was just like, there's no energy in here. And then I was with Sam at the Elephant and Castle, and I was trying to take pictures at halftime, and like people were just kind of like why is this guy, like, leave us alone? Yeah, like leave us alone, you know, like people were just like, like, no, like we're losing. And it just kind of put it into context with me that like our own standard, rightfully, our own standard is so high that like being 2-1 down at the Etihad at halftime and the whole thing was flat. So yeah, we'll all take 2-2.
Do you think that's the whole goal right before halftime effect on players? You know how they talk about that in matches where like if a team concedes right before halftime going in, it's like a big, oh man, like it seems like it works on fans the same way, and you know, where they go flat. But frankly, I was very confident that second half would be a tough battle also. I mean, look, we've come back from 3-0 in Istanbul. We can come back from anything. We came back against Barcelona. We can come back against anything, right? But it happens, you know, it happens. Before, it just the way that goal was conceded, you know, like, and that, by the way, that's the other part of the story of this match, is the goals just were very, again, I don't want to underestimate, like
underestimate
credit to Manchester City. I mean, they scored 2 goals, but you felt that like these were mistakes that led to those goals, mistakes by Liverpool, and so that's what hurt a little bit.
Yeah, completely. Like the Kevin De Bruyne, like we talked about all of their weapons, all the guys that they have in just every position they're strong. It was going to be very interesting of how they're going to set up. And I always think that they play almost a carbon copy of us, pressing just slightly less, but they have the kind of positional, just how things are set up. They look like a mirror copy of us on some occasions. And then you have this, you know, he got his tactics right? And then is it we got his tactics right, or Pep got his tactics right, or did we just not play up to snuff? In terms of ambiance, though, one shout out to this young boy. He was about 7 years old, and his parents gave him a chant book, LFC chant book, for Christmas. He was on point. And at one point in time, at half, he's this little guy that got kitted out. He came to the table. He was there with his parents and his other brother, and he was yelling and screaming. So he lifted. We already have the Cop, Emery, and those guys in Mo singing, you know, Ahmed singing. But then this kid was just revving everybody up. You could not cheer. And, you know, even though we were down at that point, you could not cheer. He was revving. Evie up was jumping. Like, it was really, really, you know, cute dynamic. But getting back to the game, you know, I hate the fact that we talked about, De Bruyne being the piece that he is, and then that deflected goal from Joel, like as a very tough way to go down that pipe. But and even Jesus, who doesn't score for or doesn't even play, and he got his, and it was a good goal, mind you, right? Like it was a good goal, it was right place, right time. And Ali did save us quite a bit as well. But I mean, again, as what you're saying is 2-2 going into the empty head and coming out with a point and still being alive. No, that's all we can ask for, which is fantastic.
The last thing, and obviously feel free to have a wrap up point about this game as well. But the last thing for me is, I think context is really important as to where we came from and where we are. If we were 4 points behind Man City going into last Sunday and we won, and we were now 1 point behind them, we would all be like, oh, we're going to do this. This is it. This is happening. But they dropped their points earlier and we didn't beat them at the Etihad, and it's still 1 point. If we were 4 points behind them and we made it 1 by beating them last Sunday, it would still be the same games left.
Yeah,
it would still be all the same left. But like, because they'd already dropped their points and we'd already had our like win streak, like, it doesn't really change the fact that like it's 21 points left to play for, and like we need to get 21 points unless they drop one, and like if they don't drop one, they win the league. Like it is what it is. And any wrap up points, because then we're going to move on to Tuesday, which is just nuts, by the way.
I think we should let's just go right into the
okay. So Tuesday, everybody, hands up, everybody who expected like a 7-0 Bayern Munich win, because I certainly did, right?
Yeah.
And was everybody, if they were watching, were they watching Chelsea because it was a great game with like two heavyweights?
Yes.
What the hell happened in Germany? Like, what on earth was that? Like, thoughts? Are Bayern not that good? Are Villarreal like just this smash and grab expert? Because they had one shot on goal and scored. Like, good evening all round.
Yeah, Sultan, what do you think, buddy?
Well, when I watched the first leg, I was lucky. I was sitting in a restaurant/bar, and both matches were on, and I wasn't paying attention to the Bayern Villarreal match.
Okay, this is the first leg.
The first leg.
Okay,
and so when that happened and it was 1-0, I was a bit shocked. I was convinced that second leg Bayern's going to close this off. It's just a blip, bad week. But credit to Villarreal, and this is the danger of every match we play and the toughness of whether it's Champions League or League. And this is what's hard for the players, is they have to play at the best, highest level they can consistently, because every team is out to win. No one's coming just for show and having some fun and going home. So Villarreal, for them, they may be, mid-table in Spain, but when they show up for that match, they're not thinking we're mid-table. They're thinking we're champion killers, and that's exactly what they did to Bayern. Like, and that shock to Bayern, I think, is what made it difficult for Bayern. And on top of the manager got the tactics right against Bayern. They knew how to play against this team. So they have the talent. Maybe it's 1-for-1, they don't match, but as a team, they got it right. And we got to be careful. We have to be careful.
Jake, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm thinking of the Benzema. Like, people write this guy off for years. It's garbage. He's past his prime. He's overweight. He's barely playing, whatever the case is. And he scored this year, he scored so many like critical goals. Like 97th minute, whatever he is doing hat trick, like phenomenal. And so to now it's going to be very interesting to see the opponents on the other side of that draw fight it out just a little bit, and hopefully Real can take a bite out of City and essentially have them have a harder time in the Prem, which would be completely ideal. But that's going to be a very, very strong, very, very good match. But Chelsea, I think there was like 49 shots Chelsea had in the two games, something like that. And I was just, also I was reading articles. Modric said that this was the hardest game, a team they played all year. So that's credit to them and that game. But that's Champions League football. You gotta love it, right? It's so unpredictable. Anyone at any given day can beat anyone, especially now in the eight and in the quarters. But I think we've got a good shot at Villarreal.
I think we were torn as well because our inclination is to say we want Man City eliminated, of course, right? Like they're our modern day rival. They're our rival for every trophy at the moment, and it's like if you could get rid of them. But the truth is, if Atletico had scored the other day and like taken them out, they would have had like a Premier League game rest, Premier League game rest, Premier League game. And instead, now they've got Premier League game, Real Madrid, Premier League game, Real Madrid, Premier League game. And anybody who says Manchester City are overarching favourites, Manchester City are not necessarily better than Man City in like 17, 18, 18, 19. They're not. Like that. Those seasons, they beat 100 points. One of the seasons, they got 100 goals. So it's very hard to compare teams from other years. But like this Manchester City team is not necessarily better than that team. And those teams got knocked out to like, like the Monacos. We beat them when we were fourth place. Like Lyon beat them in the COVID year. So like this is not a give me for Manchester City. Yeah, it's still like this is the mighty Real Madrid. Yeah, like you might be slight favorites, slightly, but like these guys are like leading La Liga and they know what to do in the Champions League, right?
Yeah, Sultan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's going to be a great matchup for many of the reasons you said. I think in this kind of tournament, it's very difficult, especially at semi-final. Like, look, you've made it to semi-final. You earned it, right? You're good enough to beat anyone, and sometimes the ball rolls your way, sometimes it doesn't. That's just life. I give the edge to Real though, just because of the way they have got here has been impressive. I've been surprised. I thought they were done with PSG. And as you said, Jake, Benzema seems to be like, no, I'm not done.
Yeah.
So I think City are going to have a tough time. I will say one thing about City. De Bruyne is great, but I don't know if they have that one strong leader on the team that can like lead them into the wall,
pull them over the line.
I don't know if tell me if you think there is one. That's what's for us, in my opinion. Henderson's a great leader when he's on the field, but you've got Van Dijk in the back, like this big giant, like just controlling. Like I think we have so many of I don't see that on City. I see a lot of 11
characters. Yeah, they've got great footballers, but you're not sure about their characters. Yeah. The crazy thing I've noticed this week is watching some Man City content and like talking to some Man City people, like they actually think Diaz is better than Van Dijk. And it just blows my mind because I got into a conversation on Tuesday and I was like, oh, sure, Henderson's better than De Bruyne. Sure. Like if you're just not going to see the reality for what it is, then it is like Ruben Diaz might be a great
he's a good signing.
He's a great current Premier League defender. But like you can't compare that to like an all-time great player. Like it's just, anyway, it is what it is. Jake, I had one more thing to say to you though about Villarreal. So 7th in La Liga this season, 7th place last season, and they obviously got in through winning the Europa League on penalties against our sworn enemies. Like should we be scared or like should we?
You know what? In looking at their lineup, they have proven talent from all over the place on that lineup. Even Otamendi and Vertonghen, like they're still proven. They came from Man City, they came from Tottenham. They're still decent players. I think
that's Benfica though. Sorry, I'm asking about Villarreal. That's Benfica.
Villarreal. Yeah, sorry. They have a lot of quality on that squad.
They do.
Yeah, they have a solid squad. So, and I think they've got, it's that notion of that submarine kind of dynamic where like they come from underneath and then here we are kind of dynamic. So, I mean, we're not going to underestimate them whatsoever, like at all. That's not our thing. And I think I like the fact that we are still like chugging along the way we are. We had 7 changes on our squad, right? So I think now I guess there's a different level of euphoria between the squad because there's more people playing. They're caught up into it. It's that lovely moment. But I think Villarreal. I think we should. Is it in our space first or their space
Where we
first?
go first? Yeah. Which is identical to. No, it's the opposite of 2016. And we'll do a proper preview show because there is things we need to pick at. So in the weeks leading up to it, we'll talk a bit more about Villarreal because like they've got Albiol at centre back who was playing for Spain like 12 years ago. Like there's little things like that we just need to like go into a little bit more. But like as an overall for Tuesday, we have to say thumbs up, right? Like, without underestimating them, we have to say that we would have taken that, right?
I think that they're like, are they the park the bus kind of dynamic, or will they actually play a style?
They did. They had one shot in each game and scored with it both.
So it's pure. So that's the thing. You know how we are with park the buses from the last few years. We'll see how that plays out. But interesting. That's interesting. I didn't know they're park the busers.
So, Sultan, the following night, so we march into Anfield 3-1 up. Obviously, everybody's like, they ain't beating us 3-0, they ain't beating us 2-0. Like, we start really well. Ibu amongst the goals. Apparently, we have a new threat from centre back from set pieces, as he should be, by the way, at that size. Huge.
He's massive.
Yeah. But then, any like overarching thoughts of that game? Were you ever worried? Were you ever not? Like,
I'm always worried.
Okay.
No, my perspective is I respect every opponent. So I think every opponent can beat you if they just have that fantastic match and you don't. So I worried that although I respect Klopp and he knows what he's doing way more than I do, but not having the strong team on the field and maybe giving some, not, I shouldn't say strong, but the first team maybe, but at the same time, like it's good that they get rested because of the other games. But look, I was worried for the unexpected, that black swan event happening, right? But I was confident that the team would, like, I wasn't like biting my nails on this one. I was just, and so with the early goal, I was like, okay, I'm not worried anymore, because the early goal really did comfort me. I was like, we're not going to concede that many goals. Like it would be very unexpected to then go ahead and, although they did concede a lot, don't get me wrong. But even at the end, I wasn't worried. I really wasn't.
Neither was I. And that's it's one of those where I think I told Jake before, like one of the best games I've ever been to was Real Madrid versus Man United at Old Trafford in 2003, and it was very similar actually. So Real Madrid won 3-1. It was reversed. They were at home first, but Real Madrid won 3-1 at the Bernabeu, and then it was the game where Brazilian Ronaldo scored a hat trick. So it was 6-2, so identical, I guess. No, well, we were 6-1. So it was 6-2 at Old Trafford, and it was done. It was just done. And my brother and I were sat with the Real Madrid fans, needly little bastards, just like loving it. Ronaldo gets this like huge standing ovation. The whole of Old Trafford cheers him off, because it's when Ronaldo goes off, it's 6-2. And then in the last 10 minutes, this is 2003, so Beckham's just about to leave and go to Real Madrid. So he was on the bench because he had another fight with Ferguson. So Beckham comes on, scores a free kick, 6-3, scrambles another one in, 6-4. And like afterwards, I went to work the next day and everyone was like, oh my God, like that was such a great game. And I was like, it really wasn't a contest, like it was. And that's how I felt the other day. Like I felt like for us, it was like, I understand, like if you're one of the Liverpool fans who seems to like find those things a bit like not intimidating, like a bit scary and risky and stuff, cool, like you're entitled to support us however you want. But like for some reason, like at 6, even when it became like 3-3 on the night, so it's 6-4, I'm like, they ain't scoring 3 more goals, know? And like, yeah, exactly. And like I feel like now when you look at it and we're through 6-4, only Alisson and Matip played 180 minutes from Man City. That is phenomenal squad management again by Jurgen. You know, at 6-2, you've won the game. You know, so like start making the changes, and like fine if they make it 3-3, because like Jurgen, even after the game, he had this demeanor about him. Is like, no, we won that at 6-1. Like if we needed to keep to keep it tight, we would have kept it tight. But at 6-2, you've won the game. So like anyway, it was one of those.
Does Darwin's performance change the tune on the striker a little bit? Like it's not a bad baller. I'm just,
he's a good player. The only thing is, do we need like a target man? Because he's a proper number 9. But mad love for our number 9 though. Bobby, yeah. And what a moment to come back.
Beautiful footballer.
Right? Like he scored against Arsenal. He scored, and he's probably number 5 at this point. Like, if you had to rank them, he's probably like now considered one of the outsiders, because obviously we love our shiny new toy. Jota's lethal. Man is the 3rd top scorer. Mo's the like top scorer. So, but like, what a guy! Like he scored against Arsenal. He's scoring against Champions League. So like, yeah, we are just so blessed. All right, well, that's we're moving along nicely on time. It brings us to this tiny game on Saturday morning. Firstly, everyone watching it at Madison, Elephant and Castle, where you going?
No, it's only at the Madison this weekend.
Sorry.
Elephant Castle doesn't have the rights to it this weekend, so it's gonna be at Madison.
Okay.
So, I guess I'm going to the Madison too.
Fair enough.
Yesterday booked it and everything. I reserved my spot, as you should. Yeah,
you have to reserve your spot. Okay, so what do we do on Saturday? Apparently, we don't know if we believe this, but like Kyle Walker and KDB are out, apparently. So
what do you think? What do you think? Is that a Trent, like, international break Jurgen move, or is that like a real injury? Well, only time will tell, of course.
Because it happened in the game, and because they had the hobble in front of us, I'm inclined to believe it, but I'm not, until I see the team sheet. I'm not going to be like, and even without them, they can win. Like you put Cancelo,
they'll just put Mahrez in, and they'll put
Zinchenko can play left back, and Cancelo can come right back, or like even Ake. Although if Ake plays left back and Mo doesn't torture him, then even I'm going to be annoyed as like a big Mo fan. But no, I think they're covered regardless. They've got 50 million people to come and like sit in every position. So yeah,
exactly. But the game's going to be interesting. Sultan? Who's going to start for us on Saturday?
That's hard. I mean, what do you mean, the front? Because the front is
the whole team.
All of it. Pick our team, Sultan.
I mean, I don't know. Allison, of course, and go. No, wait. Maybe it's not Allison. Maybe not. Just kidding. Oh, wait. Actually, hold on. FA Cup. Is he going to actually play Allison, or
he played Ali against Nottingham Forest? Ali's his FA Cup goalkeeper.
Okay. The other cup.
Callaghan played. Yeah,
Allison and go. Van Dijk, of course, in the middle. You got the usual suspects, Arnold and Robertson. I'm forgetting names now that I'm on the spot. Matip with Van Dijk in the middle. I say Henderson, midfield, and what do you call it? What's his name?
Thiago and Fabinho.
Thiago and Fabinho, I think. Yep, the 3 of them. Mm-hmm. Now the front 3 is the tricky one. I mean, Salah is going to start. I think Salah is starting no matter what. Klopp is, he's not going to pull him out because he knows Salah's going through a rough time and he doesn't want to hurt his confidence. That's my kind of theory on why Salah is going to start for sure. Question is, will Mane start or not? This is the big question for me. I hope he does, because I think Mane goes at players very well, very direct, and the City defense will not be comfortable with Mane going at them. And then and Diaz, I think, should be in there. I actually didn't. I thought Diaz should have played the whole game on last match, because he's so good with dribbling through players we need that. We really need someone who's going to cause that.
Do you mean Benfica or against Man City? Diaz should have played.
No, against Man City, he didn't play, right? They subbed him in.
No,
he got subbed in at the very end. I
Yeah,
didn't think that was enough time.
Yeah.
So I think if he's on he creates a lot of trouble on with his dribbling and ball skills. I think, and maybe I'm not sure, but I think Klopp will kind of try to go for a different style of playing. Now that he's played one style, he's gonna want to change it, and Diaz might be the key to that. That's my that's my lineup. Sorry.
No, I love it. So behind you, you've got Wembley, as we can see, or is that Anfield?
No, that's Anfield.
Oh, it's Anfield. Okay, yeah. It's a different angle. So, so Wembley was where Diaz became like a phenomenon to everyone, right? Like, like we signed him right at the end of January. We saw him a couple of cameos, but it was really that like Liverpool versus Chelsea game where everyone was like, "Holy." Jake, is he playing for you? What's your thought? What's your front line?
Ooh, it's hard because like I mean I think the defense is a defense that I'm okay with the four in the back. The midfield, I just don't want to get overrun in the midfield. So I think Henderson charges the orders and keeps the shape. Fabinho is there innately. I mean, I like Thiago from the skill perspective. I wish he was 2 steps faster, but that's a different story. Again, from the confidence perspective, I agree with Sultan's perspective of Salah going on and being part of the squad that day. He needs to. Hopefully, this is the day that he gets his, the mojo back from that perspective. Now, I do like the fact that like both Jota and Amani scored. So that's hard to not have those folks that have done very well in the previous games not to be part of the next day squad. Depending on how they train, of course. If they train shitty, like during the week, because that's Klopp's big thing. If you're not training hard during the week and you don't look like you're in form, you're going to get subbed for sure. But it's hard to state that if you're going to be scoring a goal in your previous games, how do you leave me out, boss? Like that's a very tough premise. But again, I completely love the energy that Diaz brings. He reminds me of like a Dirk Kuyt kind of thing. He's running. He's on, and he's nonstop action, which is what we love that kind of. But it is such a hard because I did love Bobby coming on this last game and doing that and being like, do we go old school again? But I think we need some young, either Diego or Diaz comes in for one of those 2 positions. So Mane comes on, and one of them 2 get in the middle.
I think so. Great point you raised there about the fact that Jota and Mane were the ones who scored. I feel Mane is a better number 9 at this point than he is as a left winger. So that could play into it a little bit. Like I feel like he's a nightmare when he goes and like stands up against like the 2 centre backs versus I just don't know if he's like as effective as he used to be on the left, but he's obviously still a huge player for us. Mo's pass last week as well, though, like as in it's not like he was a passenger last week, right? And even in like 70, 80, like the way he was getting us
ran back
the pitch and getting us up the pitch as well, right? Like, it's not like October, November, Mohamed Salah. But like we just need to figure that bit out as well. It's like we got the Mo situation playing back into form, don't affect his confidence, which means that we've got 4 players trying to get into 2 positions. And it's very much like Bobby can only play here, Mane can play here and here, Diaz generally has to play here, and Jota can play here and here. So it's like, it's a whole, it's what Jurgen gets paid for. And what about midfield? Because like, was there a perceived weakness last week against Man City? Like, arguably the way the fallout of the game has been, it's not necessarily Fabinho's greatest performance, but he wasn't the only one. I remember Thiago's ball that set up. It was like Thiago, Trent, Robbo, Trent, Jota. That one ball was outstanding. But again, I don't think it was Thiago's best game either necessarily. And Keita's really pushing the starting berth right now. Like, you know we've got the Naby super fans in our group, but like, jokes aside, like, he's really pushing to get into that first 11 for me at the moment. Does anyone agree?
Which is great. Fantastic. He's not injured, which is knock on wood. This is the key component. But I think that when you're talking about the midfield perspective last game, I think we gave them, again, it's so hard to state this, we gave them too much credit, right? And we paid in between passive and like really applying ourselves. So I think we took one step off the pace in the first half in our aggression against them. And I think we gave them too much respect, although they do deserve respect. I think that was the thing. And then the first 10 minutes out of the second half, we completely played the way we should have the whole game, although it was only for like 20 minutes or whatever that case. But that's what the expectation was, that I thought they were going to be at that level throughout the whole game. And I wish they had started off like that completely, because they didn't give them anything. And they were on the second ball. They were on, they didn't get any seconds on the ball. So that's what my hope was. So I'm hoping that, those tweaks that they're looking at the video this week are the things they didn't do right. They're going to reflect on this and say, okay, you can't give their mid that much time. You have to like move the ball and go be fast. It's hard to say and hard to do, but I think that would hopefully fix that, a little bit of pace and injection.
Sultan, what would you do in midfield?
You know what? I don't know what I would do, because I definitely thought we were weak in the middle. Like our balls were not going into the middle. They were trying to go over a lot. I mean, it wasn't going through the middle as much as normal. And it might be because City organized and arranged in a way to just focus on controlling the middle. And, they did a good job. I mean, they're a good team, good players. And that, perhaps we decided to play different in this match for some reason. I think controlling the middle is very important, though, because if we're going to score goals, we need to feed those players up front. And these long balls are not going to work all the time. And if you look at the goals we scored, they started with something in the middle of the field. They weren't long balls. Salah's was a pass from the middle after a couple of passes. The first one was same thing off the wing, long ball in. And then anyway, it wasn't from the very back. I hate these long balls up front that you think Salah is going to run on and get. And I mean, if he does this 10 times, he gets tired. So I don't know what the solution is. Maybe it's pack the middle, change the formation so you actually have a packed middle. But then how does that take away from the attacking threat? And this is where Klopp's gonna, I'm actually interested in seeing what he does. Does he do anything?
So then Bobby plays, because Bobby can drop.
Yes.
This is
and that's why
we have.
He's the link.
Yeah, and that's why I like Diaz, because Diaz can dribble. We need that skill so that you put pressure on their back line a little, and that opens things up. I mean, that's why I liked Coutinho. That's why I liked Suarez, because we need that player. And I think we have some. I don't know if Fabinho or again Thiago might be, as Jake said, just a tad bit too slow to be as effective as like Firmino coming in and doing that. I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, I can see problems. I don't know if I know the solutions.
We got to get you back on in the summer when we start talking about transfers and stuff, because I am not like I loved Coutinho when we had him, but like the guy's a top 4 player. Like he's not he's never proven to be a starter when a team's contending. So Suarez is different because he's proven it. Like he was, he was not the star man at Barcelona. How could you, because of Messi? But like the jury's a little bit out for me for Coutinho, because his name always comes back into like conversation. But like he also used to have like 15 shots for every goal, and like
for sure.
and for like every one through ball he would make, there would be like 4 or 5 that didn't hit it. So like I think he's at his standard, because clearly he's not like demolishing the league playing for Aston Villa. Like it's not like you see sometimes like people come into the Premier League with like a smaller team, quote, Villa are a big club, of course, but like they're so good for that team. Jury's a little bit out, but anyway, that's beside the point. So I get your point though. Like we don't necessarily have that like world class, like proper number 10 who can just like thread it through. Jake knows this. Like I find it really difficult to like go back to when we were like a top 4 team and like bring those players forward, because like that wasn't what it was. However, I get what you're saying. The one other thing that I would add to the other day to this is though, I think Sultan, you hit the nail on the head earlier in this conversation, is we also didn't just like properly show up on Sunday. So that's another thing we have to think about, because one of the themes, so this is week 12 and we're lucky and blessed that we've been able to like document this run week by week, and like we can keep watching these back for years actually and just like, you know, like it's so cool. But one of the things that we've said a few times in these 12 weeks that we've been recording this is Liverpool play the game, not the occasion. Liverpool play the game, not the run, one by one. But on Sunday, we played the occasion. Even Van Dijk played the occasion. Even Fabinho played the occasion. And if you watch Gabriel Jesus's goal, Trent gets the blame that he let Jesus go. But there's 2 moments, please watch it tonight. Anyone listening, watch it tonight. There's 2 moments where Ali calls for Van Dijk to leave it, and Ali will come and grab the ball. And Van Dijk does like 7 out of 10 headers. And Van Dijk's the best defender I've ever seen. So I'm not criticizing Van Dijk. I'm just saying that for the first time in this, like this January to now run, we finally saw Liverpool be human and like play the occasion. I just don't think we do that 2 weekends in a row. That's my thinking. You know, like I feel like, and this is neutral, right? Like this is Anfield South. Like this is different to like the home fans. Like I feel like we had all this momentum and like we had all this stuff, and there was just so much to lose on Sunday versus like, we've got nothing to lose, let's just go for it. Oh, like if we had lost and it had been 4 points, like that's a lot to lose on Sunday, you know? So maybe that might solve this thing as well.
Yeah, completely.
I agree with you on that. I think so this past Sunday, it was more strategic thinking, and therefore a bit more, they were a bit maybe more nervous about that match than this coming one. It's win or lose. Like it's just that simple, you know. So you got to go all out, or else you're going home. There's no. So it is. You're right. There is a difference in mindset for those. So
we need a few more minutes just to talk about the minnows we're playing next Tuesday, the lowly 7th place team we're playing on Tuesday. So just to wrap the Man City game up, neither of you are allowed to say extra time or penalties, because Mo doesn't need another 120 minutes in his legs ever again. He's played like too many of those. What are we thinking? Jake, what's your prediction for Saturday?
Of course, from a football fan perspective, I wanted to go to extra time and pens. I'm just going to say that again.
Okay.
But to save legs and save some of that energy, I would like, I mean, innately, if I get a 1-0 or 2-1, it would be my hope for the team this weekend. But Sultan, what do you think?
I don't want it to go to extra time. I definitely don't want it to go to penalties, because I'll just age like crazy. On this past Sunday, I predicted at halftime, I think it was, I was messaging in the group. I said 4-3, Liverpool's gonna win, and I really believed it. Once we came out and scored that second goal quickly, I thought this match was gonna be. This is two teams with great attacking, and I don't think it's going to be low scoring again. I think there's going to be more goals, but I actually think it's going to be 3-1 Liverpool.
I had that in my head as well, 3-1. I actually feel like 3-1. So Jake, sorry, what was yours?
2-1. I said 1-0 or 2-1.
Yeah. Okay, so 2-1, 1-0, 2-1, 3-1. Okay, and then to bring us home, we're entertaining Ralph Ragnick's boys on.
What place are they in now?
7th. They're 7th. Yeah, they're the Villarreal.
I never looked down that schedule that far. I never looked down the standings that far.
They're the Villarreal of the Premier League without the European pedigree these days. So surely a team who can't run in like normal matches can't suddenly show up against
No, they
the
can't.
team.
Of course they can. Of
You
course they
think they
can.
can?
This is
Yeah.
their World Cup final for us.
Yeah.
Like,
But is it though? This is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Is it though? Because these guys have proven to be not, like, they're charlatans, you know? Like, this isn't an offense at Man United, the club. Like, Man United, the club, is like one of the big teams, one of the big clubs. They're our biggest rivals, no matter what Manchester City want to think. Like, we know that it's a generational, like, historic rivalry. But, like, I think even at this point, if the fans are being honest, like, even they would agree that their players are charlatans. Like, they are not committed. They're picking up their.
They don't have the heart. You can see they don't have the heart.
So that's what I
see it on the
mean.
pitch.
So do you think? So Jake, Sultan, do you really think that they're going to develop this heart over this next, or do you just think, like, where are we with this? It's so hard to tell what's going to happen on Tuesday.
Yeah, this is the trick again. I'm just such a big match. They would like nothing more than to derail our run. And that's the only thing that worries me, is that for this one match, these players come out saying, hey, you know what? We're going to show them what we are. They have some talented players.
Of course.
You can't underestimate them. Having said that, I really think we're at a very different level, and the professionalism that Klopp and his staff have brought in, they're going to be able to manage it. But keep one thing in mind: the number of matches that Liverpool has played, and the players being fresh and not, and you know, we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, that's you know, we're playing again, as Jake's saying, right? We're playing for the quadruple. They're playing for nothing, right? Like, this would be their win for the season. You know, if they could walk away saying we stopped them from getting the quadruple, this would be like they won a trophy. So, you know, nervousness, but I'm confident, knock on wood, that, you know, Reds are gonna manage this and in a professional way finish them off.
Just before I go to Jake, they are playing Norwich on Saturday, and you know, if they win, they are 3 points behind top four. Although Tottenham will have a game in hand. So they do have a proper match on Saturday. Like, it's not like they're in obscurity. It's not like they're 9th or 10th and like 17 points away from whatever a target would be for them. So they do have a game on Saturday. Like, that's, I kind of feel like that is just another thing that's slightly in our favor. Like, if it was just a complete, like, we can put our, because that's what they did to us at Old Trafford last year. I don't know if you remember, but like, they played a B team against Leicester a couple of days before they played us on the Thursday. And then they put the main team out against us. And the crazy thing about that is, mathematically, they could still have won the league at that point if they had beaten Leicester. And like, they completely rolled over and played us with their proper team, and still we whooped them. So yeah, Jake, your thoughts? Like,
I think, you know what, I'm just hoping for another repeat of that 5-0 hammering. Would be just a great present to us all. You know, they're yes, they have good players. They're a great squad, and they have the talent. Well, they don't have. I don't think they have the heart. Even I'm going to say courage, even. But let's see how that plays out. It's going to be, you know, for this month as a whole, as a Liverpool fan, is phenomenal, right? We've played 2 Benficas, 2 cities. There's our blue friends in there, right? We've got so many great games in this month. And it's crazy that they're playing every 3 days, and like, and you know, I'm sure they're in these like ISO chambers of, you know, cryo
oxygen and everything.
So they're just, you know, like, how does your body do it? Like, how does your body do it and recover in a 3-day period? And you have to train. Like, it's it's crazy. But I'm looking forward to it.
Predictions for Tuesday, Sultan.
Oh, I'm going to go with 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah.
Jake?
I'm going to say 4-0.
4-0. I'm going to go 2-0. I think we're just going to do enough. And I feel like my reasoning for saying 2-0 is, I think at 2-0, Man United will tap out. And I think we'll know they've tapped out. The
Oh
only
yeah.
thing with 2-0 is obviously dangerous if you're 2-0 up with like 20 minutes to go. But I think it's just going to be like we did at 5-0 at Old Trafford. You know, at 5-0, we just like, they tapped out. We felt they tapped out and we're like, why are we going to get injuries and stuff now? So yeah. Last note, tomorrow is April the 15th. So obviously this is why I have that side, the 97 up. So just want to give our OLFC Toronto support to the families and friends of the 97 and the whole football club. You know, it used to be 96 fans went to a football game and never came home. Well, one did come home, and obviously his life was never the same. So somber note to end it on, but the only note we can possibly end it on. So wherever you are, whether you're in Toronto, whether you're watching this from wherever you are, just know that our thoughts from Toronto are with the 97 and with our football club as always. And then Saturday, please, if you're in the GTA, come out to the Maddie. Let's get some feverish atmosphere going. I can't wait to be there. I was hoping it was tomorrow with it being Good Friday. I'm just like, wait, is it the game tomorrow? I'm like, no, I have to wait one more day. Because yeah, Jake said it's coming every 3 days, but it can't come soon enough at the same time.
Agreed. Can't wait. Book a reservation. Whoever's coming, just book a reservation so they know how to staff. Please do.
Amazing. Sultan, thanks for being here. It was a pleasure,
Thanks,
my man. Look
Thanks
forward
for
to meeting you on Saturday. Jake, as always, I'll see you, I'm sure, in on Saturday. And yeah, have a great Good Friday. Big day for Hillsborough tomorrow, and then we shall see you next week, same time, same place. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Bye.
Everyone.
Thanks.
Cheers.